Hello, welcome to episode 341 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian,
And I'm James.
and this week we are talking about the changing landscape of Magic.
It sure has changed. I'll leave
That
it
was
at that.
diplomatic, I
Because,
thought.
yeah, that's about as diplomatic as I can get, I think.
So, um, if you have anything you want us to talk about, if you have thoughts on this, let us know. Facebook, Discord, Twitter, X, Blue Sky, email.
Mm-hmm.
All those things, all those links are in the description. Say hey, let us know what you think, and maybe at the end you can be like, I kind of agree with them,
Yeah,
or they've got it all wrong.
absolutely. Let us know what you think. This is, I think it's kind of a divisive issue, and it's taken me a while to put all of my thoughts into like a coherent format, like organized. I think most of them you're probably on the same page with. But it appears on the internets that not everybody is. So let us know how you, our listeners, think about this stuff and start a discussion. Also, we probably have like a week before Avatar is here. Maybe two.
Very true, very true. That is
So,
happening sooner rather than later.
Yeah, so if there's anything else you guys want to hear about next couple weeks, hit us up, let us know. This episode was kind of, sort of taken from our Discord. Somebody posted up they wanted to hear what would it take to bring Magic back to the glory days or to fix Magic in our eyes or something along those lines. And while I don't think we're necessarily going to answer that question, gathering information and identifying the problem is part of the process, right?
Yeah.
So here's gathering information and finding the problem.
Yeah.
If you guys want to support the show, you can do so on our Patreon, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Chip a couple bucks in over there, however much you feel like or can. There's tiers there, but they don't really mean anything. In exchange, you'll get early access to my show notes, so you get a sneak peek about what the episode's going to be about that week. And I got some pretty lengthy show notes this time, so you'll definitely get your money's worth there. And you also get about another hour of content out of us every week in the form of our unshow. We're old, sometimes our equipment doesn't work. We always just need to catch up. So we spend about an hour before every show doing exactly that, catching up, making sure our mics and video and everything are configured the way they're supposed to be to give you guys the best show we can. And we record that. Put it up on Patreon for our patrons to enjoy. They seem to like it. So if you're interested in any of that, or if you just want to support the show, like I said, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG.
Yeah. All right. So, we are going a little robot from time to time. So, we apologize. We don't know why.
Yeah. I haven't had any go robot since we started the show, so
You've gone robot a few times, so
not good. Okay.
it'll be like just for a second, but we apologize. The internet is a series of tubes that carry voices, and sometimes fish get stuck in the tubes. It's very confusing.
Yeah, that's weird. Are there a lot of fish between here and Wisconsin?
There's at least one lake, kind of.
There's a pretty big river.
Yeah, pretty big. There could be a fish or two.
Yeah.
All right, so we are going to talk about kind of how Magic has changed and like some of the recent clearly smaller content creator discourse around the the recent state of Magic.
Yeah.
So and I couldn't help this you have Magic isn't the same game when we started the show about 7 years ago.
Well, I couldn't when I started. I couldn't remember. It was it 6 years ago? But I think it's closer. It's almost 7, right?
We're at 341. We've missed a handful, so 350 would be it's 364, or 364 would be 7 years. So we're gonna be, because we missed a few, we're gonna be a few short of that. But yeah, we'll be at 7 years in January.
Yeah, that's kind of insane. 7 years we've
and
been doing
this. And I still have to go to my job.
Yeah, what was that when we first started the show? What was that stat you had told me?
If you're just like consistent, like most podcasts like die out after like a year.
Yeah.
Like if you can make it to like this point or like however many episodes, it'll just kind of go.
Yeah.
Well, it just has kind of gone, but
we just kind of do it. It hasn't really gone anywhere.
I don't even know if I can. I don't even know if Stamps.com is around anymore for me to read their ads. Like that was the dream, and I think we've outlasted Stamps.com. I haven't heard of Stamps.com ad read in a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're just gonna kind of talk about kind of how things have changed and perhaps why.
Yeah.
And
towards the end of the episode last week, we kind of touched on like some of the various goings on in the community, some of the rumblings that have been happening. We talked about Saffron Olive's video about like the financials of Hasbro a little bit, and at that point I hadn't really had a chance to kind of organize my thoughts and have like a meaningful talk about this stuff. So I did a little bit of that over the weekend, and some more content has come out. In addition to Saffron Olive's video, Brian Kibler released a video about kind of the state of Magic, and you had sent me or told me about LR kind of talking about the Spider-Man set, which even though it doesn't necessarily talk about the same things as the rest of these people that we're going to reference, it's definitely in the same vein. And the Prof did a video I think about the same time that Saffron Olive did, kind of about the release schedule and like Universes Beyond. So like all of those kind of help. Like I had started to organize my thoughts, and then every time I started to, another piece of content came out that made me like think a little bit more. And I think all of them have some points that I definitely agree with, some that I may not necessarily agree with, but we're just going to kind of break down the state of Magic currently and kind of give our thoughts along the way.
Okay, so the first thing I have here is the touch on the Saffron Olive video.
Yeah.
If just to kind of refresh everyone, basically the only reason Hasbro makes any money is because Wizards of the Coast is part of them. And apparently Wizards generates like 80 to 90%, if not more, of their like profits in a given quarter.
Well, it would actually be higher if the other properties that Hasbro owns didn't exist, because Magic makes so much. Yeah, Magic makes so much money that not only is it the most profitable, it's the most profitable despite the rest of the company. Like there are quarters where Magic's profit was higher than Hasbro's profit.
Yes. So what's funny is do you remember when Finkel was somehow like loosely associated with like
some
this
group of investors?
I don't know if they were private equity, or just that was like Wizards of the Coast should be spun off as their own company. It makes way more sense. Like Hasbro is dragging them down.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it took Saffron Olive like looking through their quarterly reports to like tell people.
Yeah, Saffron Olive.
Indeed. It's Seth, probably better known as a certified public accountant.
And today we're gonna go over Hasbro's earning reports.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like it's obvious that the company Wizards of the Coast would make more money if it was not associated with Hasbro.
Right.
So interesting that apparently making physical toys for children loses money.
Right.
This might be an indictment on current parenting and children, but
sure.
But Gavin is doing his part to purchase toys, or to have me purchase toys, but apparently other people's kids
not so much.
Like please feed me. don't buy me toys. Gavin's like, I can eat Lego. It's fine, man.
Yeah.
He's not even buying American. He's buying Legos and Dutch toys.
I think like the important thing to pull out of what Saffron Olive said is that the trends that we're seeing in like the direction that Magic's going aren't going to stop because Hasbro can't afford to let them stop. Is like kind of what it boils down to.
Yeah. Investors now are no longer content with a stock that kind of just like keeps the same price and maybe gives you a dividend or something. They like constantly want to see growth.
Right.
And if Hasbro doesn't grow, its stock price will go down. And the only way that Hasbro can grow is to sell Furby Magic Secret Lair cards.
Or The Office.
Both real things.
Both real things.
Only Dwight Schrute can save them.
That's right.
Okay. So there was that. And then there's the LR situation where they did the set review, right? Commons, uncommons, then rares and mythics, and then usually, like maybe they did their first. Like usually it's first impressions.
Yep.
And I don't know if they even did their first impressions show.
So they said in that episode that this is their first and last impression.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
Yep.
But so their very first show after the set release was the quote unquote Sunset show. They were both like, I am done with this. So LSV had done 7 drafts and then was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I think it's bad.
Yep.
Like he had issues with flavor and with like, gameplay.
Yep.
Like, you know, he just kept saying like, these cards aren't cool. The Spider-Man cards are kind of cool, but like the arena, like Omen Pass thing, I don't like.
Yeah.
And they play most of their limited on arena.
Yep.
And Marshall did 1 draft. And then someone said, hey, Final Fantasy flashback drafts are back. And he was like, I'll do those, thank you.
Yeah.
And he's just been doing Final Fantasy flashback drafts. So
didn't LSV also say that like Cheon had been recording drafts to put out as content, and the places that were publishing his content asked him to please not send anymore because people don't care?
So LSV said that this is the worst received set from a content point of view since he started doing content. And he was like, I've been doing content for like 15 or 20 years.
Yeah.
And Cheon just does stuff, I think just does stuff for YouTube, like kind of independently. And he stopped doing content because no one was watching it. And like TCG Player, that like LSV does content for, maybe Cheon does stuff for them too. But TCG Player was like, can you send us literally anything else?
Yeah, a cube draft or flashback draft or something else.
Anything. No one's watching this content. Like, it's not worth us putting it up.
Yeah.
So, like, content creators are not creating content around Spider-Man or Omen Paths Volume 1.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Because no one likes it.
Yeah.
And no one wants to watch it. And, like, there have been some draft sets that LSV has, you know, not particularly cared for. And they have still done all the shows and played all the stuff. Like maybe they kind of threw in some like they'll do like a level up episode, or maybe they have like Ben Sek come on and talk about like an old like the design of like an old set.
Yeah. And
then maybe they would do more of that, but you know, because they didn't want to talk about it as much. But they've never come out. I've been listening to them since Cons of Tarkir.
So forever ago, 10 years?
Yeah, 10 years. Like I listened to LSV's first episode, which I think was the Fate Reforged set review.
Yeah.
Right, like right around there, and they've never been like, I don't want to play this set. I'm just not going to play this set. We're going to do a couple weeks of other stuff.
Yeah.
Until the next set comes out. Now, granted, usually it wasn't. The preview stream is 3.5 weeks after the set comes out because Spider-Man. Right. This is what Spider-Man's 4th week.
Yeah.
Right now, or 3rd week, and I looked it up when you were like, "We're almost to Avatar." Avatar's October 28th is when the preview stream, and the full set should be spoiled November 7th. So, like, just seemingly the design of the set, the cards, the themes, the fact that it's not the same in paper and in digital, have really turned people off.
Yeah. Do you want to, I know it's kind of not really on brand for like this episode, but do you want to talk about some of the problems with specifically the Spider-Man draft format, or do you want to save that for some other time?
We can do it. Like, honestly, without. So the main issue, so one is the pick 2 draft format, which may or may not be fine.
Yeah.
Right. Like the limited resources guys were like, I don't hate it. Maybe they could go back to do it in another set, but this just isn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they will, because I think we've talked about it, and they brought it up as well, as 4 people as a commander pod.
Right.
Right. So you're gonna have your 4 friends come over, and like maybe once a month, you're like, hey, instead of playing commander, how about we like change it up and draft?
Well, isn't there a product for that? Isn't there like a 4-person draft like box? You just buy the box and go draft with your buddies instead of play commander.
Yeah, maybe there's so many products. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm almost positive there's one.
Yeah, is it like? Does it like? Or is it released yet? Where like there's like a prize that is like a collector booster, like the winner gets a collector booster or something.
Maybe I'm not sure.
There was something there was something where it's like, oh, here's this thing, and then like it comes with a collector booster that would be like the prize for the winner or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, there might be something like that. But like as a way to like capture those commander players, so like the pick 2 seems fine.
No, I'm not a fan.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
Then the draft format apparently is red is like stone unplayable. Right. Not even to like the like it's like BFZ like green levels of not playable.
Yeah.
Which, okay, you can maybe miss with like one archetype, but to miss with like a whole color and go from 5 archetypes to 3.
Yeah, that's a big hit.
Is like a huge hit. Like it's not great. And like the archetypes that are left like are fine, like blue white, green white, and blue black.
Mm-hmm.
But like the cards aren't that interesting. Like they don't do that like interesting stuff. They're very like almost like core setty.
Yeah.
So, do you remember Strixhaven? Like Strixhaven was kind of was the same like 5 color pairs.
Yeah.
But like you could like build these like interesting decks that maybe weren't like the best deck was like this teamer deck.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like a 2-deck, almost like a 2-deck format. There was like this big over the top, super fun to play teamer deck. And I think there was like an aggro deck or something that I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Right. But like people, they're not going to say Strixhaven was like an all timer, but people kept playing that format like Marshall and LSV because this like teamer deck, like you do all this like crazy stuff. You could like end up with different versions of it, and it would like come together in different ways.
Yeah.
It was like really interesting. And these are just like blue white is beat down with extra steps.
Right.
And green white is go wide beat down with extra steps, and then blue black is like kind of control villains. Okay, neat.
Yeah.
And then can't draft red. And it was interesting that they were looking at like the 17 lands data, comparing Spider-Man to kind of the same spot in like Edge of Eternities, I do believe.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like there were like 3 times as many games for Edge of Eternities.
Yeah.
Like Edge of Eternities, like most drafted 2-color pair was like 30,000 data points.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man's was 9,000.
So there's 2 other kind of things I want to add on to the data that you just said.
Okay.
The first is that with Edge of Eternities, we had 10 color pairs. And
yes.
they mentioned this in the LR episode. So not only do you have like a third the number of data, but realistically, you have half of a third, a sixth.
Yeah.
Because there was twice as many archetypes for Edge of Eternities than there are.
Yeah.
So like an archetype should show up twice as often.
Yeah, so like if the same number of people drafted, there should be like 60,000.
Right.
For the most drafted, yeah. So
and the other thing that they touched on that I thought was kind of an interesting point that a lot of people might not pick up on is that because red is so bad, it also makes green and black, or not green.
Yeah. Green and black.
Yeah, green and black.
And...
hard to draft because you've automatically eliminated like half of the decks that you could be playing in that color.
Yeah, like if you take a green card, you're kind of like committed to taking white cards.
Right.
Like every green card is like a green, white, gold card.
Yeah.
Because you can't take red cards.
Mm-hmm. And same with black. You can't take black, red cards, so you kind of have to take black, blue cards.
Mm-hmm. And I would like to point out that I did say, man, like big spells in red, green, really like there's not the support like there was big spells in blue red. Like it just didn't seem like a functional thing. So like by and large, there's like a lot of problems structurally with the set, and then flavor wise with the set.
Yeah. And
so they're just off of it, which I think is like kind of a huge deal for like Wizards to have the like every content creator, us included, like is on some level like advertising for Wizards.
Sure.
Right? Like, you know, every product would love to have a fan base that was like, I'm going to talk about your product for free.
Mm-hmm.
And to have like one of your biggest like content creators come out and say, this is so bad, I don't want to touch it.
Right. And
by the way, here's other evidence to show it's so bad. Other people don't want to touch it too. It's radioactive.
Yeah.
Not great.
Right. So the next place we're going to move into is the Prof's video, where he wasn't necessarily complaining about Spider-Man, even though that he was complaining about Spider-Man. But he was kind of complaining about Universes Beyond in general. And the thing that I pulled out of his video is that supposedly this unannounced Universes Beyond set that's going to be like the second set of the year next year is going to be Nickelodeon themed. Or it's like a Nickelodeon IP. And rumor has it that it's going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, turtle power.
That's right.
So that and this is going to run us kind of right into what Keebler's saying. But he mentioned that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is set in New York City. And Spider-Man is in New York City. So we're going to have a set in New York City separated by two sets.
Two sets.
Avatar and Lorwyn. And then another set back in New York City. So
it's the New York City standard.
I hope you liked your bagel with schmear, because you're going to get a slice of pizza to go with it. If these rumors are true. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the prof, the other reason I wanted to mention the prof's video is because he had a particularly relevant quote that I wanted to add to our video. He said, more products and sets are being released than ever before, and yet, paradoxically, less Magic the Gathering than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Because next year, 4 of the 7 sets that we have are not Magic IP.
Yeah. It is like you are getting more Magic cards, but less of like the Magic world that people bought into as like recently ago as like the start of this podcast, right? Like 7 years ago, there was like, was that when they started? Like, is that right when The Walking Dead Secret Lair came out?
No, there weren't secret lairs when we first started, because I remember doing an episode about like the product line announcement.
Yeah. I'm trying to see when it like.
And if I remember correctly, we used to cover like the secret lair announcements. Like, these cards are being reprinted. Like, these are ones to get. These are ones not to get.
Yeah. So okay, The Walking Dead was in 2020. So that was kind of our first like Universes Beyond.
Yeah.
And there were because I remember we did like the rat.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like the first one was like the Year of the Rat thing or whatever. Yeah, but like so, as recently as like 5 years ago, we didn't have
outside
Universes
Magic IPs.
Beyond.
Yeah.
And now it seems like they can't help but like throw themselves outside of the Magic world.
Yeah. And just as kind of a side note, break from our topic here, not really a break from it, but like this is where my mind was going into this weekend when I was trying to start to organize my thoughts, was that that's what I'm having a problem with. Now, I've said on the show, like, I'm not the biggest lore guy. The lore isn't like that important to me where I'm, waiting with bated breath for the next piece of story to come out. However, I did enjoy having the sets tell a story.
You say you weren't like a big lore guy. You would be like, oh hey, did you see the new lore thing? Like you read like a lot of them.
Yeah,
like,
but it's not.
Over your
Yeah, like I looked forward to them coming out, and like, or I shouldn't say I looked forward to them coming out. I read them because they were there, and like it meant something to me to connect the story to the cards. Like I liked having the cards tell a story. And I don't know how many of our listeners, I know you probably haven't, but I don't know how many of our listeners have ever listened to the Drive to Work podcast that Rosewater does. Way back when he started that podcast is when I listened to it, like forever ago. But one of the things that he did multiple episodes about was specifically that. Like how he got into designing Magic cards was he was a writer for Roseanne, the sitcom back in the 90s or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
His background is specifically storytelling through writing. And like that's what he brought to the game. He came to Wizards around the time of like the Tempest block, and that was really Magic's first story. Like sure, like the Brothers War stuff happened, there was some loose lore like tying things together, but there wasn't really a story. And that's what he brought to the game, was being able to tell a story through these cards. And like that's one of the things, not necessarily the story articles or whatever, like I read them, but I could take or leave them. I wasn't like butthurt when they went away. Like it's not like I was missing anything, but I liked having the cards tell a story. And that's basically gone now. Part of that I think is the move away from block structure, because it's really hard to have like, if you think back to your writing class in college or whatever, every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and you have to introduce the characters and introduce your conflict and have a resolution and all of this stuff. You can't really do that in a set because there's no like players are going to see those cards out of order. You almost have to have some sort of block structure to tell a story. So I think getting rid of the block structure was the first move away from this. And then like compounding that is throwing in all these sets that have some other story. And like that is the point where I started to organize my thoughts, is I got thinking about all these Universes Beyond sets. And it's not just that they're telling a different story. They're not even telling a story. They're all just, you know, making fan service to people from a different IP. Like even Lord of the Rings, that is like, I'll say the greatest fantasy epic like ever written. Everybody knows that story. So you may look at those cards and say, oh, this is the story of Lord of the Rings. But those cards don't tell a story. They're just like, oh, here's a thing from Lord of the Rings. Here's another thing from Lord of the Rings. Here's the ring. There's no story behind any of it. And then I think that's kind of compounded, and maybe one of the reasons why this set failed so bad is because, like in Lord of the Rings, sure, that is a huge volume of work to deal with and kind of distill down to a set, right? Mm-hmm. But if you think about Spider-Man, when did Spider-Man come out? 80 years ago?
Maybe a long time ago.
80 years of weekly story updates in the form of comic books coming out. How do you distill all of those stories down to a 180 card set? You can't. So not only is it not telling a story, but you're also referencing like vastly different storylines just to, oh, hey, do you remember this? Here's a card for it. Do you remember this? Here's a card for it. And like none of it is telling a story. And I think that's why these Universes Beyond sets feel so disconnected, because they're not telling a story.
Yeah, like there's, I mean, comics are particularly bad for this. And just because like, oftentimes the comics aren't self-consistent.
Yeah.
Right, it's like, someone died in a different timeline, right? So, like, you know, they wanted to, like, I thought that, and this is something that that kind of attaches this, like, I thought with, like, Final Fantasy, I thought they were going to do, like, a game and, like, tell the story of that game.
Right.
Through the cards, like they kind of normally would. Right, like, the story's already written. They just have to put cards that reflect that story together.
Yeah. But
they kind of went with like an anthology approach.
Right.
Right. Like, here's just like some characters from like every game. Here's like, you know, a Tomeberry, which is in a bunch of games. Mm-hmm. Right. Like just things that like, again, didn't like tell a story.
Oh, look, it's a Cactuar.
Yeah, it's a Cactuar. Yeah. And then this way, like, Spider-Man was even worse.
Yeah. And
it kind of goes with the Kibler point you had here, right? Like, okay, if we're going to Universes Beyond, can they at least, like, feel like they're fantasy cards? Or, like, set in a fantasy world? Like, I didn't find Lord of the Rings as offensive as I thought I was going to. Because you could, like, if there was someone who didn't somehow know about J.R.R. Tolkien, you could kind of convince them that this stuff fit into the world of magic.
Yeah, if somebody had never heard of a Nazgul, like, it could be a like, that could be a thing in Magic.
And I mean, to some degree, the Final Fantasy set, there were some cards that kind of, well, I guess after you have New Capenna, everything's, like, on the table. But right, like the Final Fantasy cards, they looked fantasy enough that they felt like they fit in Magic.
Yeah, they were kind of adjacent. But like that brings up kind of an interesting point too, though, because like I didn't particularly care for New Capenna, or for Outlaws, or for Aether Drift. Like they were fine sets, and like they felt kind of like Magic, but they definitely did not hit the same way Cons did.
Yeah.
Or Theros or Kaladesh the first time we were there. Like, and I think that's because they're like half measures. Like, part of it is because of the story thing that I was kind of talking about, where I appreciate that the cards told a story. And it's really hard to do that in a singular set where you see the cards all out of order at the same time. But also, like, those particular sets in Murders also fits into the same mold, I'll call it. But they're kind of half measures. They're not, the way they feel isn't necessarily a Magic set. It kind of walks the line in between, like, a Universes Beyond set and a Magic set.
It is like, they feel like a special episode of the TV show Magic.
Yeah.
Where, like,
Duskmourn is a good example of that.
Yeah. This week, the Star Trek crew gets stuck in the holodeck, and they're all cowboys for an episode.
Yeah. Speaking of
right?
Star
Like
Trek.
that, yeah, but that's kind of how, Karlov's was. Oh, hey, on this week's episode, we're doing a murder mystery episode.
Yeah.
And, like, it's like, the story felt more like, I think I talked about this before, like someone just went through, like, Netflix and just, like, read the different, like, different, like, either movie genres or, like, read titles. Has anyone seen this Death Race 2054 or whatever? Was it any? We could just make a set, right? Okay, cool. Westerns. Have we done westerns? Okay, we'll do a west. Like, it didn't feel like it, like, organically made sense.
Right.
Right. So, and, like, it is, like, we talk about this in video games a lot, like, immersion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you want to stay, like, immersed in the world.
Yeah.
And, like, a lot of these sets, particularly Spider-Man, like, are immersion breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Where you have the Kibler example of, like, Bagel and Schmear.
Right.
Or, like, hey, is that Chris Pine?
Right. Well,
right?
that
Like,
was another thing that he called out the Bagel and Schmear, but he also said he's a Commander guy. Like, he plays a bunch of Commander. He made the comment about Doctor Who, and that was, like, a Commander product. That he hates playing with those cards because it's terrible to see, like, David Tennant on a Magic card. Like, that's a real world person. You can't just, like, put him into your fantasy universe. He made the same comment about Star Trek. Like, it's going to be real weird seeing, like, Jean-Luc Picard on a Magic card.
William Shatner.
Yeah.
It's William Shatner on a Magic card.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is very much immersion breaking.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, why did Dwight Schrute just exile my creature? and I gained life for it. Like, that's really weird.
Yeah.
But, like, so, yeah, there's a lot of things that kind of take you out of, like, being in this game to some degree, right? Like,
yeah.
So it is weird.
I know, like, you just called it immersion breaking, and that is definitely, like, a big thing in, like, video games and, like, game design in general. Is you want your players to stay in your universe. But Keebler called it the uncanny valley effect, where, like, you just kind of know something's not right.
Yeah, you can't quite put your finger on it.
Yeah,
but, like, something feels off.
Yeah. And I get that point of view also. It's like, yeah, something's weird here. This just doesn't work. So.
And then I like his, like, because we have these contracts to put these cards into standard, right? Now you have, like, wonky, like, fetch land rotations.
Yeah, because we're going to have a rotation in between, like, the fetch land sets rotating. So the ones that we currently have are going to rotate out before the ones that we get from
Oh gosh, you're right, because like they're on either side of August. Yeah.
Yeah. So the ones that come in Lorwyn are going to stay legal in standard, while the ones from,
For an extra year.
yeah, they rotate out. And he also mentioned, I mean, he's pretty tight with Wizards. I don't know how accurate this information is, but he's under the impression that Universes Beyond sets are going to affect legality also, like bans and stuff, where like Wizards is going to be pressured to not ban cards with signpost characters or objects from these IPs because like they need to be there to sell the cards.
You mean like VV
Yeah.
or
Yep.
the One Ring?
Yep. No,
Uh,
I don't know how relevant VV is in Final Fantasy. Like that's not a character that I was familiar with, but
like Final VV is like beloved.
okay.
Like it's from Final. He's from. I think he or maybe she is from Final Fantasy VIII. And there's this random like TikTok channel that I watch of like video game rankings, and they're like, it's two guys. I'm like, hey, can you rank the? One of them was, can you rank the top 10 Final Fantasy characters of all time?
Yeah.
As by like some poll from like some video game website or publication. The number one character was Vivi.
Okay.
Like number two was like Tifa or
Yeah.
Aerith or something. Like no, I think it was Tifa. So like he is well beloved in the community. But
Okay.
yeah, you have this like thing where it's not. They've always taken into account not gameplay reasons to like not ban stuff. Like,
Yeah.
oh hey, we don't want to ban this card because it's like a chase mythic from the set, and we don't want to like lose that like driver for sales.
Right.
But now on top of that, it's like, hey, we don't want to like make our partner mad because we've like banned their card or their
Yeah, their
character.
beloved character.
Right.
The last point that Kibler made that I thought was kind of telling, and it kind of piggybacks what LR said, was that he said specifically it's a good thing that there's no PT attached to this set because testing for it would be an absolute nightmare.
Oh yeah.
Because you like part of testing is you jam as many drafts as you can digitally before you go to your testing house to test in paper. So you'd be doing all this testing digitally and then not be able to recognize any of the cards when you started testing in paper. And he said like there's just such a disconnect there that it would make testing like basically useless.
I think we talked about this last week, maybe in the pre-show.
Yeah.
But like we talk about cognitive load,
Mm-hmm.
and like you offload a lot of like having to read the card and know what it does each time you see it because you look at the art,
Right.
and you're like, oh, that card is the neg 3.
Right.
Right. And it's like always frustrating when there are two cards with like similar art in a set.
Yeah.
That like your brain kind of mixes up. Like, is this the instant or the sorcery? Like, what's going on?
Well, I mean, how many times in the course of us doing this show can we like recite the text of a card and be like, oh yeah, what was that card called? I can't think of the name of that card, but it was blah 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 blah. Like this is what it did.
Or and then go like, yeah, it was like a guy on like the left hand side, like looking with a magnifying glass, and you're like, oh yeah, but whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you oftentimes associate the art with what it does and kind of like skip the name.
Yeah.
So if you're like doing all of this like prep online and you've stuffed like, you know, the Omen Path card art in your head,
Mm-hmm.
and then you see not Omen, like then you've got to like start all over again.
Yeah.
When you start seeing the real cards, and that's really hard.
Yeah.
So and I think it's an important. Oh, one more thing. There's an important point that you brought up that Kibler's tight with Wizards.
Yeah.
The fact that you have LR that is helmed by your main PT commentator.
Right. And one of the greatest Magic players of all time.
Well, yes. And then you've got the professor who you frequently invite to your events.
Right.
As like a promotional person, like, hey, you can come meet this person.
Yeah.
And you're like Brian Kibler, like they did an episode of his like Commander at Home podcast,
Yeah.
or show or whatever at the Magic Con. Like it was one of the things is come to the like whatever stage to see Brian Kibler
Yeah.
do this thing.
Oh, so go ahead and finish your thought. I got something to add.
But they just have all of these people that like are kind of on some way, shape, or form on their payroll.
Right.
That they're like hitching their wagon to.
Right.
And then they're like, yeah, this kind of sucks. That's not good.
Yeah. I would highly recommend that you watch Kibler's video. Like sometime this week in your downtime or whatever. It was pretty good.
Okay.
So his video was titled something about like my thoughts after MagicCon Atlanta or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that he said was when he was like he was invited to do a panel at MagicCon Atlanta. I don't remember what the panel was for, but the panel before him was like something related to Spider-Man, or like I think a panel the day before was something related to the Spider-Man set, and like nobody showed up to the panel. So the panel before him was supposed to be the art of Spider-Man. Well, he was in like a big hall, and I guess they have smaller halls. They took that panel because nobody showed up for the first one and moved it to a smaller hall. And he said he went to that smaller hall just to see, get a gauge of interest because he had a panel coming up. And he said there was almost nobody in that panel for the art of Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. So, like, just nobody cares.
Yeah,
nobody cares at all.
They hit the breaking point.
Yeah.
And then I saw this cardboard crack cartoon as well.
Did you see it?
Yeah. Ooh, I've definitely seen it now.
Yeah.
But basically, the like wizards saying what they're gonna do with like universes beyond.
Yeah.
And then how the goalposts have moved over and over and over again.
Well, it's not just that they've moved, but like this is the literal definition of slippery slope, right?
Mm-hmm.
They start off saying we're going to print outside intellectual properties on Magic cards using reskins and silver borders. And then the next panel is actually we'll print the outside properties in black border, but then we're also going to offer in-universe versions. And then it goes to actually we won't offer in-universe versions anymore, but Universes Beyond won't be standard or won't be legal in standard. And then it says, actually, Universes Beyond will be legal in standard, but only half of the sets will be Universes Beyond. And then it says, actually, there will be 4 Universes Beyond sets and 3 in-universe sets in 2026, but it'll be half and half on 2027. And then the last panel says, you don't believe us?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you've lied to us every time. And, like, this is the literal definition of slippery slope that, like, I've been complaining about since 5 years ago we decided. 4 years ago.
Something like that. Like, I think that an issue, like, you weren't a fan of the Walking Dead stuff, but you bought a Walking Dead Secret Lair because, like, you got the Lucille, right? You were like, oh, there's a Lucille in here. That's neat. I think that was the special card.
It was, yeah.
Right? You bought that one, but it was like, hey, this is like a one-off thing.
Yeah.
This is gonna, and as it's become like more and more prevalent, you're like, eh. And we talked about this in the pre-show, and I think this is so. We kind of talked about one reason that we're getting all the sets is just like the sheer like need of Wizards of the Coast to prop up Optimus Prime and My Little Pony.
Yep.
Right, which is wild. I never thought in my life would be like, man, Optimus needs some help. Dinosaurs that transform into robots, can't sell them.
Yeah, not doing it.
Not doing it. But there was a TikTok creator whose name escapes me. I apologize, TikTok creator. Does magic content, but he laid out this like idea that these sets, a lot of these like Spider-Man, like I think it's just known that Spider-Man was supposed to be like an Aftermath size set.
Yeah.
Like the Assassin's Creed product, where it's like we're gonna give you like 4 cards and like a stick of bubble gum for $7.
Yeah.
And you're gonna like it. But then Aftermath bombed, and then Assassin's Creed bombed.
Mm-hmm.
And then they were like, let's get rid of Thunder Junction. Let's get rid of whatever was supposed to be the big score vault.
Right.
And that's just a bonus sheet because we can't do the little set. And then Spider-Man was crap. We can't do the little set. We can't have Spider-Man be a bonus sheet in Edge of Eternities.
Right.
That'd make even less sense. So we're gonna like throw a hot dog cart, a fairy, and a bagel in it,
mm-hmm.
and a pigeon, and be like, okay, full set in air quotes.
Right.
We're gonna release that. And his thought was, they signed all these contracts when they thought Aftermath was gonna be a success. To be like, oh yeah, we can like throw 50 cards of like Marvel in here
mm-hmm.
as Spider-Man. We can throw in 50 cards for Marvel Heroes, and we can throw 50 cards of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Right.
Right, like that's fine. But then all those little sets bombed,
mm-hmm.
and they were like, "Crap! We already signed the contract. We already promised them that in 2026 we were going to release Thing.
Right.
We have to make a whole thing now, and we've got like 6 months to do it.
Yeah.
And it usually takes a year or a year and a half. Okay. And so like we're just getting we might be getting a bunch of sets that were supposed to be small
mm-hmm.
that they've had to scramble to like make big.
Oh, hopefully they did a better job than with Spider-Man, but I'm not holding my breath.
And imagine, if you will, that the license was right, ignoring that Marvel Snap is a thing,
mm-hmm.
right? That they got the Spider-Man cards, or the Spider-Man IP, much like with Assassin's Creed, and they weren't really planning on it to be on Arena.
Right.
So why do you need the digital rates?
Right.
And then it's all of a sudden it's like, well, it's going to be a standard set. We need to put this on Arena and on Magic Online.
Yeah.
And then you end up with this gobbledygook.
Mm-hmm.
And, right, we might be in a situation where, like, you're going to have Wolverine in paper and, like, Angry Short King as, like, through the Omen Paths or whatever.
Oh, man. I don't know if I can deal with a whole year of this.
But
that might push me to my breaking point.
The podcast will just become the reimagining of car talk from NPR.
Yeah, and we can play video games or something, man. I don't know if I can do a whole year of this.
Yeah, Casual Tryhard MTG, now Casual Tryhard.
What are we playing this week?
Yeah, I could get Anthony bailed on me on Baldur's Gate.
Okay,
we could play Baldur's Gate.
Can you do Baldur's Gate cross-platform? I'll download it on PC.
I do believe they have cross-pal for Baldur's Gate.
There we go.
We solved the problem. All right, so we have the money reason.
Yep.
Both like interning profits and perhaps having to redesign sets because they weren't successful.
Yeah.
Now, what?
Well, I think what all this boils down to is that, like, Hasbro through Wizards is going to do whatever it takes to make a buck until that thing will no longer make a buck. And then they'll just find something else to hitch their horse to, and they will do that as much as they can until they can't make a buck doing that anymore. And like, I don't think they care about the player base whatsoever. Like you mentioned, I don't even know that they care about new player acquisition, because my brain can't comprehend how the kind of person that is going to buy Spider-Man, Avatar, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whatever, is going to turn in to the players that we used to be.
I think that they're looking like they've always talked about like the secret hidden kitchen table player. I've never done anything organized ever. I just get some cards and make up some rules. I think that they're hoping that they can like support the game on the back of that.
Yeah.
But I think that's difficult, especially
right. But that's Beanie Babies. That's Labubu. That's fad. You know what I mean? Like that's a fad.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like something you're building for the long term. It's something that you're making a quick buck off of and then ditching.
I mean, I think that is, I think you have summed up like the corporate culture for the last like 30 years.
Unfortunately, but like that kind of ties into what we said at the very beginning of this, though, is that this is not the same game that we fell in love with 10 years ago. It's not the same game that we've devoted one night a week for the last 7 years to do this podcast, on top of testing, FNM, traveling for events. Like, it's not the same game anymore.
No, I think that that change is like, I don't know, it's just, it's more, I think, of a, we kind of say like they don't care. I think it's more of like a corporate thing. I think that like, I think that like the Mark Rosewaters, Gavin Verhees of the world that are like in the nitty gritty doing this stuff, I think that they care about the game and the players.
Yeah.
But I think they're probably getting like edicts from on high, like, hey, you need to turn out a set in 6 weeks or 6 months. And they're like, I thought we were done with this.
Right.
And, right, like, you know, I don't know. I always know that, what's it called? Wizards does not pay well. So I doubt Mark Rosewater is in a financial position where he can say, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Well, I mean, he's been there long enough. He might have like stock options and stuff that
he may. But even if he were like not happy about the thing, he still like needs to be like positive about the thing. Right?
Yeah, so, look how happy he was with Magic 30.
Oh, yeah.
I still remember that stream. It looked like he was kidnapped.
Yeah, but it's just very, like I think that the people that make the game maybe realize that things are not going well.
Yeah.
But,
well, hopefully some of this outrage, like, I don't even know if I want to call it outrage, because I think it's more like being apathetic than outraged, but from all these big names, like you mentioned, LR or Luis and Marshall and Kibler and the Prof, and like, I mean, even Seth, like, they're all very prominent voices in the community. Some of them have worked at length with Wizards before, and like to see them, like I said, I don't want to say up in arms. I think like apathetic is more fitting, but just like the game's not in a good spot. Like this is not right.
Yeah, it's very interesting because you have people saying like, oh, Standard's in a good place, like, and it's like, yeah, it might be like play wise, but everything around it is not great.
Yeah.
And again, like, using my like sleepy little like Wisconsin town, like they were getting during Edge of Eternities, we were getting like 2 pods. We were getting like a 6 and an 8 person pod, right? Not like huge numbers. We were getting 2 pods that would do a draft and fire.
I mean, that's what we were getting at Myrtle Beach, like right before COVID.
Yeah,
we were getting like 14 people, 16 people.
Yeah, and now you're getting 4, 1, and it's like, it could be Spider-Man, but it could just be like we've kind of hit that like breaking point. Like, it is Spider-Man. We've kind of hit that breaking point, so hopefully, like, not for the LGS's sake, but hopefully Wizards is seeing like all of this and like, oh, we have to do better.
Yeah.
We can't just, we can't just throw slop out and them eat it.
Yeah, like,
right.
And that's kind of what started this whole thing. We had talked about it in the pre-show last week a little bit, and we talked about it at the end of the episode a little bit, and I know the guy that made that post caught a whole bunch of flack for making that post and calling people pigs and what they like slop and whatever, but like I think that analogy is pretty fitting. And I talked about why I think that analogy is fitting last week.
Yeah.
So like I'm on board with what he said. I'll repeat it. Like this is slop, and if the pigs want to eat the slop, then like I guess let them. I don't even know what to do at this point. I can't give Wizards any less money. I have no agency here. I've done all that I can do.
Yeah.
Can I take money from Wizards? Is there a way for me to take money from Wizards?
I mean, you do play Arena for basically free.
That's true. I play Arena for free. I have not contributed to the Arena economy whatsoever in years.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I will say that, well, you are very, like, anti-Wizards. I think, and this maybe is wishful thinking, but I think if there was a situation where you had a consistent group of friends that went to, like, F&M to, like, draft, right? I think that, like, you could be drug out of your house to, like, go play F&M and use Magic as, like,
an excuse to
like,
be social.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the gathering.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, but...
Well, Spider-Man ain't going to do that.
No. But, like, part of the issue is, like, Myrtle Beach now has, like, 3 different stores. So everyone that you knew that is still in town,
right?
You'd almost have to do like a circle of the different stores to in a month see all of those people that you used to see.
Well, I mean, honestly,
in one place.
Most of the people that we used to play with don't play anymore.
They either don't play or they moved.
Yeah.
Right? So like I think that is kind of the only thing, like that's really the only reason I'm playing.
Yeah.
Is, hey, I am, like, I'm in a new place. It'd be nice that if I knew, like, more than just Hannah and Gavin.
Yeah.
They're cool and all, but, like, it'd be nice to know a few more people.
Have some other friends.
And, so it's like, okay, this is a thing that I can do.
Yeah.
To, like, for the gathering, because as, like, adult men, we're not gonna, like, go hang out somewhere and strike up conversation with randoms. Well, not how we operate.
I mean, I don't know if it might have just been in a pre-show. I don't know if we actually said it on the podcast or not, but we talked before that there kind of comes a point, at least in our lives, where like friendships don't really just happen anymore. And you kind of need like an excuse to be friends with somebody when you're a certain age. Now, whether that be your like weekly poker night or watching football with your buddies on a Sunday or whatever it is, like you kind of need an excuse to see your friends, and it doesn't just happen organically anymore. So yeah, I definitely understand where you're coming from. To kind of counter that a little bit though, like I kept going to the game store after you had kind of stopped going. And then there came a point where I didn't go anymore because I didn't want to play the kind of Magic that was being played, and the people there were kind of insufferable.
Yeah, I mean, I think that probably like the people that you played with stopped going.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that was kind of around the point where like Anthony was around less.
Yeah.
Right. So like your one last buddy that was at the store.
Yeah.
Wasn't there as much.
Yep.
and you're like, I don't want to make new friends. These people are weird. And so you're like, I'm not gonna make new friends. Like I don't like I would not be going to this store on Fridays
Yeah.
if they were playing Commander every Friday.
Yeah.
Right? I'd be like, no, I'm good. But they draft. I was like, oh my gosh, a store that drafts every week.
Yeah.
Okay, like I can get behind this, and it's 5 minutes away.
Yeah.
Cool. Right? But if it was like, even if it was, I don't even know if I'd play like 60 card constructed.
Yeah.
Right? Like, oh, I've got to like pay attention to like
Standard
a meta game, and I've got to like, I gotta like buy standard cards. Like, I don't want to do that. But like, hey, I'm gonna like go draft, sell the cards that I get, and then
that was something
like,
out of
going.
That LR episode also, wasn't it? Didn't they talk about how like limited is where people end up after they've kind of done their thing in Magic for a few years? Didn't they talk about that?
I could definitely. Yes, they did, about how like you don't have to follow anything. You can just kind of like show up, do your thing.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be like as committed.
Yeah.
And like that makes sense too. I mean, if you look at a lot of the like top, like current top pros are like late teens to like middle 20s.
Yeah.
Mid to late 20s, right? You've got like time, more disposable income than you did, and like limited responsibilities.
Right.
Right. But, you know, LSV hasn't done like a PT in almost a year because he had 2 more kids.
Right.
Right. Like, has responsibilities, can't do thing. Still like plays limited, and I don't know, contributes to the college fund by doing a cube draft every day.
Yeah.
Right. But it's way easier when you're in your 30s and 40s and you like have like crushing responsibilities and you're like you've got other things you're thinking about, right? Like, oh man, like
how am I gonna retire?
I gotta take care of my mom.
Yeah.
How am I gonna retire? Like all of these things. And you can just be like, you know what? I'll go open 3 packs. We'll see where the chips lie.
Yeah.
And then I will go home.
Yep.
Right? And I won't super think about this hard for another week.
Yeah.
And then I'll go immerse myself in the thing for 3 hours. Get away from my responsibilities and then come back.
Yeah.
Come back out and be like, oh god, that $30 been better invested in a low fee index fund.
I should have bought some AMD over the weekend.
Yeah, really. But like those are kind of the things. Like I can totally see that where it's like, hey, I like Magic. I'm older, but I don't have the bandwidth to like show up for a thing.
Yeah.
And like, if the draft format is bad, you lose those people too, and they're way easier to lose for like, especially now with 6 sets or 7 sets. Like, okay, you like have like you don't super like it, so if your wife or girlfriend or significant other is like, oh hey, do you want to do this on Friday? You're more apt to go like, sure. Like, okay. Or like, hey, I know we usually do stuff on Saturday, but how about we do this thing on Friday now? Because we'll go do something else on Saturday.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay. Like you're much more. And then, it's been like they did pre-release. They were like, like, and then like 2 months later, there's a new pre-release.
Yeah.
And then maybe it's like way easier to like check out because you're only checking out for like 6 weeks.
Right.
As opposed to before, they like Marshall brought this up about like. When a set came out, I was like, this defined like our Magic experience for a quarter of the year.
Right.
And now it's like 2 months, maybe?
Well, I mean, it used to be like the first big set came out, and that kind of defined your experience for the whole year. Because like that set the groundwork for everything else you were going to be doing until rotation.
Yeah. And now it's like you're just kind of like in, thing happens,
Yeah.
and then you're like, I don't ever have to, especially if you're like limited, a limited player, I don't ever have to think about this ever again.
Right.
I didn't like this. I am not going to ever think about it again.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay.
But like realistically, if that happened with maybe a little less cons block, but like Theros block, like if Theros bombed, you were drafting Theros packs for the entire year. The only reprieve you would have is the core set in the summertime. Otherwise, you were drafting Theros Born, and then Theros Born Nyx.
Yeah, and you were just stuck with it.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, well, 6 to 8 weeks later, like, okay, like, and we saw this with the with our game store experience, right?
Yeah.
Like, if an event didn't fire, it was an infinitely higher likelihood that it would not fire the next week.
Correct. And
if it didn't fire the third week,
yeah,
it might not happen for 6 months.
Yep.
Right?
Well, you also had the I'm going to call it the Vreeland effect, because that's what we called it in our game store group chat. But as soon as somebody asks who's coming tonight, the event's not going to fire. Because people aren't going to show up to just like see if people show up. Because if nobody responds in chat, then nobody's going to show up. Or if one person says I'm not coming, then like nobody shows up.
Yeah. And so like we run the risk if there's enough of those people that like step away.
Yeah.
Right? Like it becomes harder for them to come back. Like, the hope is that people are hyped for Avatar. And I will say that Avatar at least is like in the neighborhood of a like fantasy setting.
Yeah.
That could be like, okay. So
unfortunately for me, I don't really give a shit about Avatar.
That's fine.
Like the IP isn't going to do it for me, so I hope the cards are good. I hope the cards are fun, because
yeah, I hope we're not going through the Omen paths and just getting like,
oh god, if we have to do another Omen path set,
just get like Bob of the oh gosh, Bob of the Four Ways or something.
Yeah.
We're just anyway. So I think if there were more people that Karsten liked, we could drag him out to to play Magic every so often.
Yeah, I'm just an angry old coot now.
In his house, looking at his Shivan dragons, like I remember when you were the Pinnacle.
Mahomati de Jin.
Yeah, there we go. But like, I don't know, Wizards is not doing anything to pull the lapsed Magic player back.
No. And
or to
like you also mentioned, like part of the Universes Beyond thought process was recapturing old players that might be into an IP. And like that might work for some less enfranchised players, but I can't think of any IP that they haven't done that would get me back in. Like if Lord of the Rings didn't do it, I have no idea what would. Like I'm a Trekkie. Like I grew up watching Star Trek with my dad every week. It's like one of the best memories I have of time spent with my dad, is watching Next Generation on TV every week. And I wish they wouldn't print that set. I don't care how good it is. I wish they wouldn't print it. So, like, if that doesn't get me back into the game, I don't know what will.
So, with that, I think we got a show.
That was a show. Thanks for letting me get all that off my chest.
No problem. I will send you your therapy bill.
Okay.
Donation directly to Gavin's college fund.
Yeah.
But if you have thoughts on this, Facebook, Discord, Twitter, X, email, all that stuff. Let us know if you have suggestions for next week's episode.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know as well. We can do we could do hot brawl takes or something.
I mean, that's really all I play anymore. I dabble in Pioneer a little bit, but like, so another quick tangent before we close the episode out. What's all this I'm hearing about Pioneer being a dead format? Like, people are saying it's not supported anymore.
So there's not been like a Wizard sponsored Pioneer event in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think people feel like the format is not in a great place.
Yeah.
But Wizards hasn't done anything to, like, no bans or anything. Like, we went from like the ban cadence of like all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like every week they ban new stuff. Like that was like 5 years ago. But now a lot of people just feel like it's just kind of withering on the vine and there's not like a lot of like attention to it.
Yeah.
Personally, like if I had to like pick where I was going to like play, like I would pick Pioneer over Modern.
Yeah. I would too.
Like and I don't know, like I always say like, oh, I like playing Legacy, but then when I watch Legacy content, they're just Modern Horizons decks.
Right. It's the same thing as Modern.
And it's just like, oh, this is like there's an energy deck.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a Nadu deck. Like there's Psychic Frog, and it's just like I think there's still Psychic Frog. He might not be. He might be banned. I don't know. But right, like it just feels very samey with Modern.
Yeah.
So like Pioneer is like the non-standard place that is like left
right
to go, and as soon as I would be like, I'm gonna like get the cards for this Lumra deck, I would tell the listeners so they could sell all of their pieces for that deck
because it would get banned before you got it together.
Yeah, I would like the last envelope would show up and they'd be like emergency banned Lumra, and I'd be like,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the thought is people just feel like there are a lot of other the format could be better.
Yeah.
And it has not been like the focus.
Yeah.
So that's where like it's a dead format comes from.
I gotcha. Okay, sorry for that tangent.
That's fine.
So, did we tell the people where they can get a hold of us?
I did.
Okay. So get a hold of us in those places. Let us know what you want to hear about for the next couple weeks before we jump, I guess, head first into Avatar. Hopefully it's better than Spider-Man.
It can't be worse.
That is true. It cannot be worse. This is probably the worst set ever. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's worse than Dragon's Maze.
It very well could be.
If you want to support the show, you can do so via our Patreon, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. Head on over there, chip a couple bucks in, get access to my show notes. You'll get an outline this week of all of the talking points that we just went over, all nicely arranged. So you get a sneak peek about what the episode's going to be about. You also get about another hour of content out of us every week in the form of our unshow. Just us ranting, catching up, talking about whatever, unscripted, unedited. That's why we call it the unshow. If either of those sound good to you, or if you just want to support the show you listen to, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG.
Yeah. So with that, we'll catch you on the internets.
We'll catch you on the internets.